Welcome to the Artist Academy podcast, a place where we focus on the business side of art to help you attract more customers, increase profits, and ultimately live a life of creativity and financial freedom. I'm your host, Andrea Earhart, and this week's episode is all about keeping a high vibe or keeping your energy really high for your life and business, and also how to use that energy to gain momentum and maintain it throughout the week or month or quarter, or even the whole year. Because I've noticed this year, especially, I had really low energy. And so I've been really focused around how to get it back, how to maintain it, how to keep going without burning out, how to reach my goals. And energy is a really big thing behind it. People used to say I was, so determined, so motivated. But really, I feel like I just had all of these things in place, and it was a lot easier before I had kids, or a kid, don't get me wrong. But I'm looking back at why I had all of that then. Like, why was I hitting some goals then and maybe not as much this year? And so I've made a list of all the things that I am doing, things that I did not do, the bad habits that I have gotten into, good habits that I'm getting back, things I'm doing right and wrong. And I'm going to share that with you today. I'm also going to be sharing, I have scheduled a bunch, like a handful, several Mural Meetups for next year in places like St. Croix, the Virgin Islands, Costa Rica, Barcelona, Spain, a bunch of places, including every year we do one in Missouri as well. And I'm going to talk about that towards the end of it because it also ties into this. But I have decided, I am proclaiming that I am going to hit my 200K goal for the end of the year. It's going to be a stretch, mostly because I spent part of the winter, part of the spring, and part of the summer just not in a high energy vibe. And I was more going through the motions and doing some things. I would kind of go up and down. I would have a week where I would be like, yeah, let's do this. And then I would have 2 or 3 weeks of like, okay, I'm spent, or I'm doing this other hard thing, or I'm just tired, or like this is going on in my social life, or just there's so many things. And I've shared that in previous episodes, but I have decided that this last fourth quarter, so really the last 3 months of the year, I'm going to make it happen. And so in order to do that, to play it really safe, I have to have 3 $30,000 months for the last 3 months of the year in order to do this. And I've done $30,000 months before, and it's a lot of work, but I'm aiming for it to be no more than 40 hours a week. I can't do that anyway, but I'm going to do it. I know it's possible. And so I'm having to just reframe, get a list of things that I have to do, which is a little bit of outreach, a lot of promotion on social media, and keeping my energy super high to maintain it. And so we're going to go over the ways that I'm going to keep that energy really high. But I just wanted to share that because I hit the $100,000 mark already last month at some point, and I was like, oh, wow, it's like way past the 6-month point of the year. Really, we're at 3/4 of the year, and I'm at half of my goal. But I'm reframing. Nope, I'm going to hit my goal that I proclaimed I would at the beginning of the year. And I share that because I'm not just like blowing smoke up my ass. Like this is something that I have decided and I believe in, and I'm going to do it. It's going to be a stretch, but hey, it'd be like a goal isn't a goal unless it's a little bit of a stretch goal, right? But I'm sharing that because maybe you haven't hit your goals either. Maybe you're not exactly where you want to be either towards the end of the year, but it is not too late, especially because we are in the fourth quarter. And this is the time to sell things like prints. This is the time to get commissions for the holidays. Everybody's wanting something custom right around this time. And this is also the time to set yourself up for the next year, which I teach inside of our fourth quarter success plan within the Artist Academy. And so if you want to dive into all the technical stuff, get into the Artist Academy, $37 a month. It costs almost nothing. And you can get the whole fourth quarter success plan. It has email templates. It has everything that I've used for past promotions to promote things like my prints and murals and window paintings. It has everything in there in a step-by-step, so you can do this too. But in this episode, we're going to be talking about energy. So here we go. First and foremost, I went to see my primary doctor earlier. They asked me some of the basic questions first. You know how when you go to the doctor, they're like, do you do this? Do you do that? Like something basic, like how much sleep are you getting? Like all of that. I'm just going to go back to one of the most basic things of having energy is sleep. And I wasn't able to do this, when my son was a newborn or when he was before 6 months old and sleeping through the night and anything like that's not possible. That was in a survival mode. But now he is sleeping through the night most nights. And I often think to myself, I'm like, okay, he is sleeping 10 to 11 hours at night. No wonder he has so much energy to run around and scream. Plus, he's taking about a 2-hour nap per day. Imagine how I would feel if I was taking a 2-hour nap every day, plus getting 10 plus hours of sleep at night. I'm a very sleepy person. I would feel like a million. I would be over rested probably, just to be real. But just imagine if I just laid down for more hours. Like say I got like 8 hours of sleep at night and then I just laid around the other times and just relaxed, like truly relaxed, not scrolled on my phone, not binge something, like really just relaxed and was just alone with my thoughts. Like that's not going to happen. But number one is I've really started to get more sleep and really be just unapologetic about it. And one is with my husband at night. He loves to sit up and watch Netflix until midnight. And I've finally just said, no, I can't do that. So right after we put my son to bed, I spend about 30 minutes with him. That's about it. And then I say, honey, I'm going to sleep. And every time he's like, what? You don't want to watch TV? I'm like, and I just explain, no, I need more sleep than you do. The man needs like 6 hours of sleep at night. That's it to survive and he's fine. And I just cannot. I need about a solid 9 hours. So I go to bed, I scroll on my phone a little bit, usually on Pinterest until I fall asleep. And I don't know what it is about Pinterest. It's like mindless scrolling and it just puts my mind to sleep. And there it is. So last night specifically, I got 9.5 hours of sleep. So I am feeling great. I'm like, I'm going to record a couple podcast episodes today. I'm feeling it. I'm going to do a live video in the academy. I've posted so many things to social media today. With that amount of sleep, it's been great. So first and foremost, I know that that's not really great art business advice, but that's what's on my mind lately because I'm a toddler mom and sleep is important. But number two is what I'm fueling my body with. Huge for energy. If you follow anybody in the health-related field, they are likely saying this about how what you eat and what you consume and how much water you drink and all the things you put in your body. I, this summer, have been through almost a complete redo of figuring out what is best for me to eat. I love pasta and bread and all that stuff. But come to find out, I have a gluten intolerance. Weird. So no wonder I was bloated all the time. No wonder my body was working harder to consume and absorb all this stuff. And no wonder I was inflamed and I didn't have much energy. Weird. So if anybody has not taken a food sensitivity test, highly recommend it. Then I highly recommend following the rules and anything that inflames you, eliminating for a while or mostly eliminating. And so I have done that. I've forced myself to find alternatives to gluten and dairy. And it's pretty much habit now. At first, it was really hard. At first, it took up a lot of my attention, getting recipes and all the things, but now it's pretty easy. So I'm not going to go into the ups and downs of that. But I just decided that I was, okay, I'm going to do it. I'm going to get optimal energy. I really want to do this. And I did. And now that it's done, I've just created a habit. And now sometimes I'll eat it. Like I'm not, crazy Nazi about it. But the majority of the time, especially when I'm home, it's super easy. I have alternatives and I order things and it's just so much better. So if you're finding that anything, you're getting inflamed, anything that I did. I recorded a whole episode about this a little while back. Listen to that, about how the mental health, everything related affects your business. Go listen to that and figure it out for yourself, because it is truly, truly worth it. For instance, I noticed that I wasn't ever wearing tight clothing because it seemed like no matter what I ate, my stomach would just enlarge. And talking to anybody about that, like my husband's like, "You're skinny. Like, what are you doing?" I'm like, "No, it really bothers me. Like, I look like I'm 4 months pregnant." And he's like, "No, it's fine." I'm like, "No." And so it would bother me enough to where I just wouldn't wear half the clothes in my closet anymore. And now that I've gone through the food sensitivity thing and eliminated a lot of things, and now I'm actually sitting here in a skin tight outfit. Didn't even think about it. Did not even think about it. That's just what I put on this morning and it's comfortable. Like, and I've just been hanging around the house and doing work and I just looked down and like, this is something I would have never worn 4 or 5 months ago. And I'm so excited that I have fixed it. And now I don't have that going to my closet and be like, "No, that's not going to look good. No, I'm not going to feel good in that. Oh no, that's going to hurt my stomach because it's going to be too tight." Like, I figured it out. And now we're on the up end, and now I can sit here and you can't even see me, but it doesn't matter because I feel comfortable. I feel good in my body. And it's just, there's nothing compares to that. So that is my tip number 2, sleep. And then what you're fueling your body and how you feel in it is number 2. Okay, number 3, I consider myself a pretty high vibe person in general. And I've been told that before. And I was thinking about, where does that come from? I don't know, but I'm not, walking around the house skipping and smiling. Like, usually it takes something to trigger that high vibe. My happiness, you could say happiness, you could say energy. So I made a list of all the things that trigger it. And one of the main things is having conversations with other artists or my friends. So my friends who are high vibe, or just other artists in general. The other artists, so say I'm on a coaching call with another artist, every single time I get off a coaching call with them, even if they are at the lowest lows, just starting their business, they're feeling so bad, like I still come off of it feeling so great because I'm helping them. And because I really love talking to other artists about art, which is the thing I love, mostly art business, right? So I have decided I'm going to be doing more one-on-one coaching calls, more virtual meetups where we do group calls, things like that. So I'm working that into the academy because I wrote that down. That was one of the first things I wrote down, was what makes me go from feeling just normal or average or even a low vibe or low energy to high. And that was one of the things. And so many things into that of helping people and all the things. But I was like, okay, how do I make that? How do I do more of that? So just a sneak peek, but I'm actually going to be opening up more one-on-one coaching. And I'm going to be doing this on my birthday. I'm going to be doing a birthday special where the last time I did one-on-one coaching, it was about 1.5 years ago, a little over 1 year ago. And it was so much on me because I had a new baby so I know what it entails. So I have been avoiding it since, because it is so much work. And I love, talking to students and all of that, but it's like the one-on-one coaching when I am invested in one artist or just a small group. So I'm probably going to be taking on maybe 5 people. It's a lot. And so I've been restructuring that on what that could be to where it's a little bit less on me, but I'm still giving them the attention that they deserve and want. We're still moving their art businesses forward. I have made a plan and I'm 90% there on how it's going to work, but I'm going to be unveiling that next month. So if you are somebody who you think that you're wanting one-on-one coaching from me, or you think you need more than just watching a couple videos online or whatever, keep this in the back of your mind. And then my birthday is next month, October 18th. I'm going to be unveiling it that week. So the week, basically October 14th through the 18th, I'm going to be opening it up for a very, very short time, or until I get the 5 people that I want and to be working one-on-one with. And I'm so excited because I have been toying with this one-on-one thing for the last year, even though I know how much work it is. And I'm like, no, I don't want to do that again. It's because it was a lot for me having a new baby and doing that. But I'm like, I feel like I can figure it out now. But the thing that keeps going in the back of my mind is I truly believe that if an idea comes in your mind and it keeps bugging you, like say, you should paint that series, or you should launch this product, or you should be an artist full time, like things like that. The thing has been tapping at me lately is you should help an artist one-on-one. And I truly feel that's because I've already done it in the future. That sounds very woo-woo, okay? But just hold on with me. I really feel like that. Like, I just think that there is some artist out there or a group of you who need it. It won't be 90% of the people listening, but there are some small percentage of you who needs this and who are 1000% ready to go all in your business. That you just need a little bit more guidance and you want to do it faster. And you maybe won't do it if I'm not there. That's what I feel. And because I've helped several artists, right? And some of you just need tips on the podcast. And some of you just need videos on how to show you how to paint. But some of you need me to take your hand and head and push it in the right direction and be like, no, we're doing this. Let's go. So that's why I'm going to be opening up one-on-one coaching for a very short time. So just a heads up, if you want to make sure you 100% get it, just sign up for my email list. Just go to artistacademy.co, download. I offer a bunch of freebies, which is a pricing guide or a supply list or whatever. And then if you're on my email list, you're going to get a notification when this goes live. So if you are interested in that in the back of your head, or even send me a direct message on Instagram, that's actually probably better. And be like, hey, tell me the details and I'll tell you what I have so far. It's not completely ironed out. It's not super cheap. Like the Artist Academy is $37 a month. It's not going to be incredibly cheap like that, but it's not going to be unaffordable either. So there's that. So I'm going to be working with more students. But another thing that keeps me super high vibe is hanging out with other high vibe people. So my friends. So I love to go to lunches or walks with my friends during the workday. And I know that not many people can do that. So I have a couple friends where like Friday is their day. They say, yes, if you want to meet during the week, I can do this. I don't like to do dinners. I don't know. It's mostly because I'm a sleepy person and I get really tired after I eat. And I'm like, okay, guys, I'm done. I'm going to go to bed now. Like that's part of, I'm just like that self-awareness. But it's also nighttime is for my son and my husband. And I don't like giving that up. I just don't. I don't like when somebody asks me to go to a dinner date. I'm like, yeah, do we? But like after 5 o'clock is my like baby time. Like, and if I've had people, I'd be like, okay, yeah, I'll go to dinner with you, but then I'll keep my son home for like most of the day so I can hang out with him and I don't feel bad for going for dinner later. I don't know. It's a mom thing. It's also I'm just extremely attached to him still and not willing to give it up. So I'm oversharing with you for the fact of I just got really specific with this list, right? Things that keep me super high vibe. Hanging out with friends. When exactly? Before 5 o'clock. That is my time. Lunches or going on walks. I don't know how many times, like friends that I haven't even talked to in a long time, I would meet up with years ago and just like, hey, do you want to hang out midday? And we would go, I would almost think about canceling before I went because I was like, no, like I don't really feel like it, or I have other things to do. As soon as I went and we talked for an hour and we just unleashed on like what's bothering us and what I'm hopeful for and like all the things, I leave so energized. And I'm not meeting with those people that are just super down, right? I'm meeting with my friends that are high vibe and high energy, or at least mid-level energy that I can feed off of and we can feed off of each other and put each other up. Like so I have like this now from going on, I'm like at least once a week, I'm going to meet with one friend. One of them is going to be available. Like if one can't go on a walk with me, fine. I'm going to go meet lunch with another. I'm going to meet with them once. And it's an hour. It's for an hour once a week. And that's what I'm going to do. Okay. So being around other high vibe people. And luckily for me, like my husband is also a very high vibe person. So I love being around him. He's also kind of my mentor in a way. He's 5 years older than me, 5 years more into business, extremely smart. Anyway, I can't talk highly enough of him, but recently he saw that my local chamber of commerce was accepting people for the board. And I've never been on a board before, meaning like a board of committees thing. But he saw that it was open and he said, hey, you should apply. And I was like, oh, okay, sure. And it turns out our local chamber of commerce is all women in our small city. And I'm like, this is so perfect. So I applied. I'm going to put it out there that I'm going to get in. I hope so. But that's also another thing, is showing up to meetings like that. That's another thing that I'm going to do. It's going into joining groups like this who are full of other people with kind of the same goals as me. Like, we all want to better the community. We all want to make it family friendly. We want to meet other business owners so it's productive and it's going to contribute to my energy level by getting out, meeting people, because I love painting by myself all day. Love it. Pop in a podcast, don't talk to me. But I need to meet with other people as well. And if I can be productive with it, heck yeah. So joining this group of people who have the same sort of ambitions and getting to talk to them, and just, we're all there for the same-ish reasons, right? That's my thing. Oh yeah, back to the food thing real quick. I have figured out that just drinking a kombucha. So this kombucha that I'm holding in my hand, I don't know what it is about this thing, but it gives me so much energy. Notice I didn't say caffeine. Wait, is there caffeine in this? I don't know. Maybe a little bit. Wait, I don't know. Sure, trace amounts. Okay. Hardly, if all. I don't know. But I don't drink caffeine, and I don't do that because it makes me crash. And I also don't drink caffeine because it makes me anxious. I just don't do it. And I know that a bunch of people are going to be like, how do you start your day? Oh my God. Like, I got my cortisol levels tested, and I saw that my cortisol levels spike in the morning. And so I just let my body naturally do its thing. And sometimes it takes a good 20, 30, an hour to get going. But once I get going, it gets going. And then towards the afternoon, it's 4:00 right now. I'm looking at the time. I'll just drink a kombucha. And that thing, that combination is a way to keep my energy up without, just like research the effects of coffee on your body. It's not good. Okay, I'm just going to leave it there. Don't hate me. But I would say, coming from a high vibe person, things I'm doing, things I'm not doing, that's one thing I'm not doing. And just try it. Okay, so another way that I have found, mostly this year, I've really put it into practice. I've been traveling for a long time. Over 10 years, I would just go off to Thailand with a backpack and just all these things. And every time I would go away, I would learn something about another culture and see how people start their day and the foods that they would eat and the things that they would do and how different it was from the things that I was used to in small town Missouri. And I would come back with just a different sense of, okay, I don't have to do something just like everybody else around here. Every single time I go away, I take something from it. Like, we just went to France and Italy this year with our son, and I know exactly how privileged that sounds. It was amazing. And I just noticed all of the roses growing alongside the road and everywhere, and just the scenery really got me. And I came back and I planted a full rose garden. I couldn't get it out of my head. And then I planted a cut flower garden. And the amount of joy this cut flower garden gives me, meaning it's a flower garden meant to cut and bring inside and put in a vase purely for my enjoyment. I go out there every other day, probably, and cut a new flower, put it in a vase, smell it, just the whole thing. I love beauty, as most artists do, and you appreciate it. And it just gives me so much joy. Anyway, I got that idea because I went away and I came back with a different perspective. And these moments, these travel moments, and it doesn't have to be very far, right? You could go away for the weekend to an hour away, just something that's not just your general surroundings with the normal people that you usually hang out with, your family, or just that's not the everyday wake up at 8 a.m., go here, do this, dinner's at 7. Like, it's just getting out of the normal is really important for me. And we just did this trip with two of my best friends, and we went to Bonnaroo, this music festival, and I came back feeling so alive. I think it was like 3 days and 3 nights away. So long weekend. And I came back and I started the children's book that I had been putting down for a couple months. I had this new idea to do things slightly different with the podcast. There's just so many different things that I was like, I just feel re-energized to pick this back up. I feel re-energized to do this. And so when I'm thinking about how I'm going to maintain my energy, obviously going away for some amount of time isn't really available all the time, or is it? And so I thought, I've always had this idea, I've romanticized this idea of going away to some kind of artist in residency for the winter, like escaping winter in Missouri, which it can get cold. I'd say in winter here, it's usually 30s, 40s during the day. It snows often enough, I guess, but it's cold. And I am a very cold person normally. I don't have a lot of natural body heat. Like I remember when I was younger and I would go over to my dad's house for the weekend sometimes, and my brother and I would just like sit in this room downstairs where we had our own thermostat. So I would turn it up to like 80 and we would play video games in it. And my dad would open the door and be like, "Oh my gosh, it's a sauna in here." And I'd be like, yes, it is. Yes, it is, Dad. This is what I prefer. Like, because it was cold. It was cold outside. And that's what I want. I just want to be surrounded by warmth. And so I romanticized this idea about going away to Asia for a month and just creating art and being away and just being warm in the winter. And now I can't do that, obviously. I have a child and I can't just leave him for a month. My body would just cry the whole time I would be gone. So now I'm like, okay, but how can I do this? Well, we do these things called Mural Meetups, and I've been doing them on and off for every year. We've done at least one for the last 4 years, I want to say. And it started out, we did one in Iowa because I just needed help on a mural, and I had a bunch of artists come in and I taught them a bunch of things, and I'm like, hey, this could be a thing. And so I did the one in Missouri and during the summer, and we had 30 artists here, and it was nuts. And it was just so much fun. And everybody created so many new fun memories, and it was crazy. And I slept for like 3 days afterwards because it was nuts. And then I was like, okay, well, let's do them smaller. And so we did groups of 5 when I was pregnant. I was like, okay, I can handle like 5 people at a time, but that's it. No more 30 groups. So when I was pregnant, I did 3 groups of 5. I was like, okay, it was fun, but it wasn't like, we didn't have quite the amazing bonding experiences because there wasn't enough people, really, truly. Like you have 5 people, like maybe a couple of them are going to bond, but like you need more people to have more chances of having similar personalities, right? And having more interesting conversations. And the more people bring to the group. We've had several. We did one in Cozumel and then one in the Dominican and more in Missouri. And I think I figured out my sweet spot and place. So I went online and I pitched like a crazy person and posted everywhere saying, I need a place to host Mural Meetups. It's got to be warm. It's got to be in a cool place, beachfront preferably. And we want to paint something really cool at your location. And I got a lot of inquiries and I talked for people for several days and some didn't work out, but the ones that did, I have full listed here. And I want to tell you about them because I am designing the upcoming year knowing full well that I just get down in the winter, right? January, February, March are tough for me because of the cold, just because of it's just the vibe of winter is not that fun. Okay. If it's going to be winter, it might as well be beautiful in snow, but 90% of the time it's not. So I need to figure something out. So I have booked 2 mural meetups in January, one in Costa Rica, one in Tulum, March in Barcelona, and then April in St. Croix, which is the Virgin Islands. And I'm so freaking excited about it because you know what? When you have a trip coming up, you prepare for it, right? You're looking forward to it. I'm planning for it. It gives me something. And then when you're gone and then come back, it's just a new energy level. So I am keeping my energy up by going to mural meetups, hosting mural meetups all winter. And I'm so excited about it. Plus, we're going to have one in June in Missouri, but that one doesn't count because we have that every year. So I'm going to tell you a bit about them because I'm so freaking excited. So this all started way back when. I had this idea for this, not even knowing what it was, this idea, because you know how I said, like, if an idea just keeps coming at you and is just planted in your mind and keeps coming up, it's because your future self has already done it. This is why I think this, because 11 years ago, I was on a ferry in Santorini and we were backpacking around Europe, me and these two people that I had just met. I was like, I'm going to Europe. Who wants to go with me? And we had just been all over Santorini and rode four-wheelers across the area, the beautiful, like watch the sunsets and the sunsets. Oh my gosh, if you have ever seen a sunset in Greece, you'll understand. It's just, they are breathtaking and no photo does them justice. So we were leaving Santorini and I hopped on a ferry and I was just looking at it from the back of the boat and I was just looking at the island like, bye-bye. And I was like, how can I get myself back here with artists? How can I create something where I'm traveling and working and painting? Because these beautiful landscapes are just, they're meant to be painted. And I just felt so inspired. And that's when the idea was planted. And I haven't been able to let it go. So like I said, we've done several in different locations, but the upcoming ones, I'm just going to tell you about them because I'm just going to say, I know I'm annoying saying I'm excited about it, but I am. When we just got back from New Mexico and I just fantasized the whole time I was up there about what these meetups are going to look like. How can I make them the best they can be? How can I learn from all the mistakes that I have made before? And there are several, right? I've made several mistakes on the meetups of booking things wrong, things going wrong and not really knowing how to handle it, or overbooking, or just like, okay, now I know how to book a damn fun meetup that can be full of learning and inspiration, and for every one of those people to leave the meetups and go, that was worth every freaking penny. And I can't wait for the next one. One of the main things is I'm going to be limiting the spots. And this is not a marketing ploy. This is not there's almost so many spots left, like you better get yours. Like, no, I can only handle about 10 artists at a time. And I know this because I've handled 5 and 20 and 30, like around 10 to 13, maybe like tops. And so I'm going to be having these meetups with that amount of people at each one, because I really, truly believe I want to give each person who comes and pays money for this the best experience that they can get, that I can give. And so the first one coming up, actually, so we have one coming up, but I'm not going to say what it is because I've already explained it to Artist Academy people, Artist Academy members. There's a live video inside the group that I just did by the time you're listening to this in last week. And I know that one's already going to book up. So I'm not even going to talk about it on here. I'm going to talk about the ones for 2025. So starting in January, the first one is in Costa Rica. And we are going to be painting with artist Cole Trent. I will link his interview here, but Cole is an amazing artist. He is a spray paint artist, and spray paint is something that I really want to learn. So when I was romanticizing all of, like, what is this meetup going to entail? Like, what is it going to look like? Where is it going to be? What am I going to learn? I wanted to learn too. Okay. I wanted people to come to teach me something too. So I'm having Cole come, him and his wife, to Costa Rica. It's funny because I reached out to him. He was like, I'm actually already going to be in Costa Rica. And I was like, funny. So I was like, okay, because he's a traveling van life person. So he's normally from Florida. And so it was great. So he's going to meet us there in this beautiful villa that overlooks the Costa Rican jungle. And it's 7 days and 7 nights. And he's going to teach us for a full day. And then we're going to have days of practice. I just got an airbrush. So I'm going to bring that down and we're going to practice with the airbrush. We're going to have my Artist Academy friend, Summer. She's going to be coming doing these sunrise yoga sessions. And we're going to have a Costa Rican chef come and make us dinner for a couple nights. And we're going to have lunch and dinner provided. Anyway, the whole thing. I'm going to link the Mural Meetup info session, because by then I'm going to have all of the info on there and you can just go and see. You can see pictures of what the villa looks like. You can see links to Trent's work. You can see the full thing of what you get. But I'm so excited to do these. So that's the Costa Rica one. Then we're having one in Tulum about 2 weeks later. So I'm literally going to Costa Rica. By the way, like, I'm setting this up to where I am going solo. So in the past, I was unable to leave my baby and I took him with me and it worked out. It was good. But I have realized that is not good for my energy. I don't like when he is there, he has my attention, or I'm thinking about where is he? I would think, is he going to be lost in the Costa Rican jungle if I'm not looking for him? So he's not going to be there for the first half of the trip. I'm going to be fully in it with these artists. And then him and Ryan, my husband, are going to come on the tail end of it for the last couple days of just fun. And yeah, so if you have family that wants to come, just message me and we can figure that out and they can come at the tail end of it. So I am having my cake and eating it too. I'm going out there first, doing this amazing experience with these artists. And then my husband is bringing my baby out for the last little bit of it and you get to experience everything. So I'm telling you, when I wrote down like my fears around it, okay, if I do all these meetups to up my energy and then come back, like I'm going to miss my child. Like, how am I going to be able to do this? I'm like, oh, just bring him with me for part of it anyway. Because I noticed when we did the Dominican Republic meetup, it was good, but I brought my friends and because I had one chef friend who was a chef and a couple friends who were an artist. One guy was a videographer. And so like they played their part, but I would just hang out with them. And then I would hang out with my baby, or I would be exhausted after hanging out with my baby. And it was I just wasn't giving the full experience to the artists that had come. I wasn't getting to connect with them as much as I want to. And so this is my okay, I'm learning from my mistakes and this is going to be from now on. I'm so excited about it. Okay. So moving on, that's again, go to the Mural Meetup link here and you'll be able to see everything if you're interested in the Costa Rica location. The link to book all of these goes live on October 1st. So the first 10 artists that book, there you go. That's it. Academy members have known about this for a while, but October 1st, the link goes live and I hope everybody joins. And the next one is Tulum. There's a location it's right outside of Tulum, Mexico, but it's all inclusive, everything. You're coming with me. It's an even smaller group of artists. I'm doing 8 total. And we're going to be working and doing mural painting. I'm going to show them it's one-on-one and just group painting. There's small group painting. So I'm going to show people how to do underwater scenes and stuff like that in a very small group. Because like I said, I've done the big groups before and you really I can't give the one-on-one with them to people. And I feel like what I've learned is when people come, they want to learn how to paint like me, or they want to paint like Cole Trent, who's doing the spray painting. They want to learn, they really want to take away that. So I've figured out how to give that to them is just more one-on-one time, more small group time. And that's what you're getting in Tulum. And also I'm getting my life coaching certificate. It's a little bit more generalized than that, but I'm taking life coaching classes, learning how to ask the good questions about how to coach people better. And so I'm going to be doing one-on-one beginning of the year strategy planning with them in Tulum. So that's also what you're going to get. And yeah, so many other things. We're going to be staying at a resort. And you'll get a bungalow on the beach is your room. It's great. Go book Tulum. Another one, St. Croix. That one, we're going to be doing spray paint and technical mural painting. I'm going to open it up to a little bit more because we're going to be doing 2 different paintings. So we'll be doing 15 artists at that one, only because we have 2 big walls to do and we're going to be splitting people up. So if you want to learn spray paint or you want to learn technical painting or you want to learn both and you want to go back and forth, either one, again, go to the link to see where we're staying and the whole bit. And then this little bit at the end, if you are an artist who you have something, maybe you're a yoga teacher, you're a photographer too, you're something that you want to bring to this, like say you have something that you want to bring to these meetups, talk to me because I will you can come at cost. So if you're trading something like you want to do a sunrise yoga session on the beach, something like that, and we don't already have a yoga teacher there, then I will trade with you and I'll just give you this at my cost and you will, so we can do that. We can work together. Specifically, I booked one for Barcelona and I'm holding that one out specifically just for 100K club members. So if you are making $100,000 in your art business per year and you would like to come to Barcelona in March, hit me up because we're all just going to be trading. The cost is going to be super low because it's just going to cover expenses. But that one is only available for 100K club members. And that's because when I was romanticizing, what are these mural meetups going to entail? Like, what do they do? I want to learn and I want to go where I don't necessarily have to teach the basics. I want to do one this year and one for, one every year, really. That's a more like a mastermind, more like one that when people are coming, they're teaching and learning. Everybody is teaching and learning. And I want to do the same. I want to teach a little bit, but I want to learn a lot. That's the Barcelona one. So if you're at all interested in coming to one of those, so if you're an artist that is more upper level, contact me and I'll give you the details, because that one is invite only. And I just want to make sure. So if we don't book up the 100K club people, I'm going to start inviting people who are maybe like, hey, maybe you're making 50K and above in your art business. Do you want to come too? Like, we'll open it up if it doesn't get booked up. Also, another thing that helps with my energy is the one thing that can kill your energy is fear, right? So when planning these meetups, I have fear just like everybody else. And just to be frank, my number one fear is, if I charge what these are worth, will nobody come? Because I have booked meetups in the past where I've charged almost nothing. I take my costs and I divide it by the people that are coming. And I'm charging like $200, $300 for food, lodging, transportation, everything, teaching, everything. Because my idea was like, yeah, we'd have a bunch of people come. It'll be about the experience. I'll have so much fun. But then I was realizing, I was doing all of this work and I was showing up like somebody who was just doing work. I was showing up like somebody who was getting paid to paint for fun. Like when you have somebody who's like, oh, this is a really fun mural job. Do you want it? It's like, yeah, my rate is this. Like, well, just come and do it for fun. That's kind of what it's my own fault. I was structuring it to be, everybody just pay for costs and let's go and have a fun vacation, a really cheap one. I was like, yeah, I'll bring my family. It'll be just a cheap vacation for everybody. It's like having a cheap vacation is not what I want to work my butt off to get other artists to come and collaborate and pitch and like do all this stuff. And I was like, I need to charge what it's worth so that I can come and show up and give people this amazing experience. And so I'm charging what it's worth. And even though like I got this book on Audible. Okay. It's like the only book on Audible. If you go to like how to be a retreat host, and I listened to it and it was like, do not charge less than $100 a day for your retreat. And I was like, oh God, I was definitely doing that. So basically all of these, every retreat that I'm hosting, I'm aiming to keep it under $200 a night. So still very affordable, but I'm going to actually make something off of it like I haven't been doing in the past. So my fear around that is if I change this and I actually charge what they're worth, like, so some of these are $700 for the full thing, which is lodging, food, and everything included, still extremely affordable, right? I was still scared that charging $700, $800, $900 for this full experience, I was afraid that people wouldn't book. And so I was saying those fears out loud. Really, I just talk it out to my husband. I'm like, what if nobody books? And then I answered my own question. I was like, well, then I'll just promote the shit out of it until people book. Deal. Done. That's it. Like, okay, great. I'm just not going to let that happen. I'm just not going to, so next year there will be more. This is the cheapest that it's going to be right now to book something like this. So this is partially a marketing tactic, I guess, but it's just real talk. Like, this is the cheapest it's going to be. The next year, I'm going to know how to do it better. I'm going to feel even more of what it's worth. And I'm going to be charging a little bit more every year. So if you wanted to come to a mural meetup, this is the year. Not only that, but we are thinking about possibly having a baby in 2026. So this next year, 2025, if you want to go to a mural meetup, this is it, because there might not be any in 2026. Just saying, it might be a while. So if you're wanting to go and this piques your interest at all, and you want that one-on-one training with me in a tropical place, and you want to get away and you want to talk to artists that are similar to you and be inspired and create a plan for your year and learn these new things and just have an experience, guess what? This is a write-off. This is a full write-off. Your flight, your payment to me, everything is a business expense, 1,000%. Because you are coming to learn. Because I asked my tax accountant about this actually, because I tried to write off another trip and he was like, was the primary purpose of your trip in order to paint? And this one trip, I was like, no. He's like, then you can't write it off. I was like, okay, wait. So if I host these mural meetups, the primary purpose is to paint. He's like, yeah. So like, okay, great. And this guy does not let me get away with anything. So I'm telling you, this is a tax write-off. This is an investment in yourself. I am figuring out all these ways to up my energy. This is one for you. This is one that can not only teach you something, but just it can make you money. No doubt. I've had people come to the Missouri meetup. I had people come to the Iowa meetup, okay, in middle of nowhere, Iowa. Come talk with me. We make a plan. I take their fears, whatever fears they have around whatever problem they're having, and crush it. And they go back and they're like, I can totally do this. And they do. Not everybody has that angst to do that, but some people do. And by having smaller groups, I want to up that percentage. I want to up that percentage of me getting to talk to people. Because there's a couple of meetups that we had where I had 30 people. I didn't have one conversation with a couple of people. And I was like, I'm an asshole. Like, I don't like that feeling. And so I want to have full conversations. I want to know about your life. I want to help you. That way whenever you're in the academy after the meetup, like I know who you are and what to do. And that's just, I've had a lot of realizations lately, and this is one of them, and I'm so excited. So go to the link if you're all interested about the mural meetups. They do go to Artist Academy members first. Artist Academy members are available to book it October 1st, and then everybody else is available. If you are outside of the academy, you can totally book it, but it's not until November 1st. And I don't know how many spaces are going to be available. So just to be frank, surely there's going to be a few, maybe for the St. Croix one, but I bet the January and ones are going to might be booked up. But I don't know. I can make no promises. But if you are in the academy, the link to go and book the mural meetups is October 1st. Just say again. And if you are not in the academy and they are not booked up by November 1st, then the price is going to slightly go up on November 1st, slightly. It's like probably by like a couple $100, and everybody else will be able to. So if you're in the academy, obviously it's going to be cheaper and you're going to be able to book it sooner. But if you're not, you still have the opportunity. It just, maybe they might not be there. I don't know. Just to be frank, I don't know. Don't come at me. So, okay, that's what I have. Again, I am going to open up birthday specials in October. October 18th is my birthday. So that week I am going to be opening up chances to work with me. So lots of fun stuff. While I have my energy back, now that I've done the work, I am ready to go. And this is the year. Like I'm going to be opening up one-on-one with me and the mural meetups. And so if you want to do either one of those, this is the year to do it. Because like I said, we might have a baby in 2026. And that is not the year to do any of this. I have now realized that is the year to grow and make and raise a baby. So yeah, this is it. So if you want to make the year 2025 and the rest of this quarter, heck, not even writing off this quarter, if you want to make this quarter and this next year yours, like this is it. Let's do it. I am recording more solo episodes. I am putting out more stuff for you in order to help you and creating offers like this. And so if you want it, let me know. And really the best way to do it is to direct message me on Instagram because I'm way more active on that. But yeah, that's it. Okay. Next week, I will probably have another solo episode for you of something inspirational, something, I don't know. But I will see you next week. Thanks for listening to another episode of the Artist Academy podcast. Thanks for listening to another episode of the Artist Academy podcast. If you like this art and business talk in audio form, then I want to invite you to get my book. It's called Mural Money, How to Grow Your Art Business from Zero to Six Figures. So starting from the very bottom, like you don't even have a website yet. You have nothing. You're not sure where to go and you want to make money with a paintbrush. You want to have your creativity pay the bills. I have taken so much of the advice that I've gotten from artists from this podcast. I've been doing one episode for over 5 years now. So many interviews, so many good bits of advice. So I've taken the best of that advice and put it in my book, along with so many stories and lessons learned that I've had in my own mural career of just how I would go back and save a whole lot of time if I just knew these steps. It's a 15-hour audiobook. And so if you like this podcast, if you're listening to interview after interview, I know that you're going to like the book. So go to muralmoney.com. It's for anybody who wants to grow their art business with a paintbrush. Muralmoney.com. And I will see you next week for another episode of the Artist Academy podcast.